Welcome back to the Artie Lange Show. Just getting a note from L.A. Ken Cole wanted it to breathe for a second. Does anybody know what that means in radio? Guys,
yeah.
What does that mean?
Don't say anything.
Guys, Ken Cole, listen. I want you to talk just as much as the next guy, but we need to breathe. The show's like a fine wine. And by fine wine, I mean it needs to breathe. It needs to crack that open. Crack it open and let it breathe a little bit. Don't say a damn thing.
Well, I should probably leave.
Decant it.
No,
You want to let it breathe?
Well, we're decanting it exactly as what's your name? I'm sorry. Ken Cole. Brian Jones is here, a football expert. We were talking to pros during. Of course.
Okay.
That's why you're here.
I tell you what.
Also because you're witty and you have a charisma about you.
If it get any colder, I'm going to get back on that boat and go back to Africa, man.
Well, I'll tell you what.
It's cold as hell in New York City.
You are wearing possibly the warmest garment I've
I can
ever
hide
seen.
in it, see?
Look at that.
See this shit? I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm like Ichabod Crane.
Yeah, now what, look at that. That's a beautiful garment.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like that.
I'll sell it to you.
All right, I got about $42 on me. We're going to talk.
I'll take it.
So now, but talking college, of course, the big
Yes.
game here. That's what.
Big game
that's what
last night.
Was this just? Was this a bad game with a great ending, or do you think it was good football?
No, I thought it was an excellent game. I thought Auburn. I actually thought Auburn would win. I picked them to win.
Did you really?
What was the spread? 10 points.
You're
10
like
and a
the
half?
only-
10.5.
Only
10
guy
and a
out
half.
there.
A big cover.
Well,
by
I
the
thought
way.
everyone was sleeping on the how physical
Auburn cover.
plays.
Yeah.
Everyone got caught up in the up tempo and they spread you out. They give you all these funky looks, but they punch you in the mouth. I mean, if you break down the film, that's power football what they're running. Yeah, they're sweep left and right, but most times they were getting down the field. And we saw that early in the ball game, but then, of course, Florida State right at the ship, give Jameis Winston a lot of credit, even if you can't understand him in his press conferences. I'm just messing with you, Jameis. You cool, dog.
His Heisman Trophy speech, no one knows what the hell he said, but he won the Heisman Trophy.
Dabba dabba dooba dabba
Yeah,
dabba
listen, and he also won you can't mess with a guy. He won it all.
No, he's a great kid. We had him on set at CBS. Great kid, engaging personality, but I love what they did. First of all, the gutsiest call was the fake punt. You know, they just stopped them again. They don't get that momentum on their side before they head in the locker room. It could have been lights out. Right. They call the fake punt. They convert that, and then the drive culminates in a touchdown. Yeah. I thought that was a seminal moment in that ball game. And then to get Jameis more comfortable in the pocket, they start calling those quick little one-step drop. Just take the snap and throw it. Yeah. You know, little quick hitters.
Yeah, if you're good at that, man, it's tough to defend.
Yeah. And then, you know, Auburn, in the second half, they scored 3 points before that one incredible run by Trey Mason. I mean, he had almost 200 yards rushing. They were well over 200 yards. I thought they had to rush for at least 3 bills to win the ball game. Auburn.
3 bills?
Yeah, they had to at least do that because
Well,
that would have kept the ball out of that explosive
they threw
Florida
better
State
than
hand.
I thought they would.
They did, but he was. And that's the another key I had was Nick Marshall had thrown for almost 70% completion percentage versus Alabama, over 80 in the SEC championship game versus Missouri. I thought he needed to have that trifecta. He had to have another big. He was only 50%. He was 13 of 26, I believe. Yeah, it was a ton of yards. I think 197, but he didn't make any great throws in that second half, and plus he had that pick.
Well, I like 10.5 points. If I was still gambling, that 10.5 was.
Nah, you should have talked to me, man. No.
Well, it covered, man. I loved it. I would have bet Auburn on house.
Oh, you would have bet, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I liked Auburn with that 10.5. You know, because I mean that's no respect at all.
None whatsoever.
It was an easy cover. I mean, they almost won the game outright. They got a lot of surprises on that Auburn team. How many guys are like pros on that Auburn team?
Well, Greg Robinson, the left tackle, he's already declared big number 73. Yeah. He's got some great feet. I mean, you know, those tackles, man, they got to be
defense or
some
offensive
sweet
tackle?
feet. Offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle.
Yeah, and he's a mauler, but he can get out in space and block downfield on that second and third level. I like him. Trey Mason. He'll be an excellent pro.
Yeah, that's another surprise.
You know, he's really put together. He's short, but he's compact.
Yeah.
And he can run inside. He's tough enough to run inside, outside. Mentioned that incredible run, that last touchdown he had in the ball game. And, you know, he had over 300 yards rushing.
No, I know.
In
He
the
came
SEC
out of nowhere.
championship
Yeah.
game. No, he's been there for a while. It seems like he's been there forever. He had 1,000 yards last year, but they were 3-9. No
It
one
shows you how they
about
don't.
that.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody pays attention to Auburn.
Yeah.
Because it's the first you're really hearing about him on a national level, but he's been good for a long time.
Yeah, I think Sammy Coates, I forget what classification he is, the big wide receiver. He's got a ton of talent. I think he's a young cat. He's got to come back. But they've got some talent on there. The secondary was the Achilles heel pretty much all season long. Their defense, they give up chunks of yardage, but they would stiffen in the red zone. And last night, that secondary came back to bite them again. Chris Davis, who was the big hero in the Alabama game.
And he got beat on the last play.
Yeah, man, he had a bad series. First they missed a tackle on that initial play where I think it was Shaw Green for Florida State runs down to their end of the field, and then he gets the PI, pass interference in the end zone, and then of course Benjamin goes
the
up.
worst penalty
and
ever.
catches.
And it was a great call.
No, it was a good call.
It was all over.
But I mean, he was in bad position, and he's outmatched or overmatched because you got a guy 6'5", 6'6", and he goes barely 6 feet.
Right. So now, give me the future for some of these quarterbacks that are great on the college. Bridgewater is a guy.
But Bridgewater and Bortles just declared.
Right.
And Manziel.
He's coming out. He's coming out.
Who do you take
got
first?
His agency established.
And Winston can't come out, right?
He needs
but
more years.
Say he could. Who do you pick out of these guys? Winston, Bridgewater, or Manziel?
Well, I like Bridgewater, and everyone loves him. They say he's a student of the game.
Yeah.
And, but players, and when you're drafting players and quarterbacks, and John will tell you this, it's like, what's beautiful in your eyes? Everyone's got a different position and a different take on that.
Andy Dalton's a student of the game.
Yeah, he is.
He is.
And he is. I had the Bengals going to the Super Bowl. Sorry to bring that up, you Bengals fans.
Hey, they had a good chance as any.
Yeah, they had a good chance, but the quarterback's got to play better. You can't make those stupid mistakes.
You got to be a championship.
It's your third year in the league.
You got to be a
third
leader.
bite at the apple.
Yeah, you're right.
Get it right.
You got to be a leader out there.
I'm not telling you to go out and throw for 400 yards, but you can't hurt your team the way he hurt them.
So these guys coming out, Bridgewater,
I like Johnny Manziel. I'm a big fan of Johnny. If Johnny Manziel was 6'3", 6'4", first, he's the number one overall pick.
Right.
If he's as tall as Kaepernick or Cam Newton, he's the number one overall pick.
Hey, listen.
Because of his height, he will probably go second round.
Well,
but there may be someone
there
may be someone in the first round.
People are projecting him top 10.
Well,
people are saying he's like the number 18 overall, number 17 overall, but that people have him going to the Raiders.
All it takes is one team to fall in love with you.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes first. I think he has first round talent, but I just know how this league works. They want that prototypical size, and they see someone who runs around. Can he work within the confines of the offense? And as I said this year on CBS, man, don't be putting no restrictor plate on Johnny Manziel. This ain't NASCAR. Let him do what he does. But I think he showed that this craft means something to him. All the off-field problems leading up to the season, and yet his numbers are better, except for in the running game, better than they were a season ago. So he put the work in.
So who goes first? Is it Bridgewater or Bortles?
It's looking like that.
Or Jadeveon Clowney?
Well, I think Clowney may go before both of those guys.
Yeah.
Clowney, he hurt himself
Clowney
somewhat.
goes to the Texans, even though the Texans need a quarterback.
Well, I think they should trade it. I think they trade it and stockpile some picks.
I feel like the Texans have talent, though. That's the
they
thing.
do.
I mean,
I agree.
They have talent, but they need a quarterback. So is Bortles or Bridgewater the guy you can build your entire?
What have we all seen? Unless you sit there and you watch the entire games, which we get to do at some point, but there's so many on. And what these scouts will do, and they're going to go in there and watch every throw a kid has made since he stepped on campus until his last throw on campus. And so they'll go and drill a little deeper than we are.
Yeah.
But, when it comes to the quarterbacks, it's about the footwork. It's about the accuracy. Are they tough? It's about confidence. And Bridgewater showed in the Sugar Bowl a year ago versus Florida that he's tough as nails because they were knocking the hell out of him.
Do these guys get hurt because of what happened with RG3 and they play the same style? Manziel, sort of reckless going into the secondary.
Yes.
They get hurt
because
like
what
that.
you find out at the next level, I don't care how fast you are, at some point you're going to get hit.
Yeah.
Because there are
especially the size of Manziel, man.
Right. That's the knock on him, the size.
Right.
But there are everyone at that level can run pretty much.
Yeah.
And so that's why you've got to be smart and you've got to pay attention to detail. That's how you discern good players, bad players, good teams and bad teams.
Right. That's going to be interesting. That's a good crop of quarterbacks.
It's a
coming
really
out.
good crop.
Yeah.
And it's deep.
Yeah, it's deep.
I've seen some scouts. I've seen a couple scouts say that Teddy Bridgewater is the best quarterback prospect they've seen.
I love watching
in the
him
last
play,
decade.
but
no,
I loved watching
Andrew Luck
RG3.
was the best.
That's what I said.
No way.
Hey, everyone's got their opinion. That's not my opinion.
Well, I think he has a great. I think he has a great upside.
Some people out there are saying that he is the next big thing.
Well, maybe he is. I don't know.
John is known for making up quotes, by the way.
Oh, he's perfect for this business now. I read somewhere that,
Exactly. That's what, there you go.
Well, he never tell you where you read it, man.
I read it online.
I read somewhere Santa Claus is black.
Yeah. Hey, that's blasphemous. You know he's white. Yeah. But he didn't come to my hood. We would have put a buckshot in him. That no white man coming in the ghetto, man. What you doing? First of all, we ain't had no chimney.
Yeah, right.
No chimney in the hood.
I think a white family.
We didn't even want to go to our neighborhood, so I know Santa Claus would come.
I think there's a lot of rednecks who are going to believe a black guy's going to break into the house and leave them stuff. What do you think about Andrew Luck's performance? I mean, just like really,
what, he had
really
4 touchdowns, 3 picks.
He had a bunch of picks, but still.
But he rebounded.
He
like
proved to be a winner.
Night.
Like, the ball bounces his way. As Montana has that. Yeah. Like they just have that, I think that's real impressive. And they got momentum, man, now. Wow. They can make something happen.
And we were talking about that game before we came on the air, and I just can't believe. I've never been a part of a game on either side where you were down by so much and you come back and win, or you're up by so much and you end up losing the ball game.
It was always I always felt like the limit was like 17 points. For some reason, that number stuck in my head. Yeah. If I looked up at the scoreboard and we were down by 17, I always felt like that's doable. But you get past that.
Right, 28
you
points.
Get into, it's insane.
That is
Was
insane.
it 35 Buffalo and Houston way back when?
Right, 92. I had a bet on that game. I had Houston. Warren Moon just kept turning the ball over. My God. My God.
You're going to blame it on Warren.
I feel like this. I feel like
it's got nothing to do with race.
That
was a crazy game.
That was weird, yeah.
Right? Do you remember that game? It was 35 points. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
But this one was crazy. I'm sitting there watching that because we actually did some TV Saturday. So I go back in the what we call a bullpen where everyone hangs out and watches the games, and and they're up 38-17. I go back on the set. I come back like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. What did I miss? But that sack and fumble, caused fumble by Robert Mathis, the defensive end, that was like the turning point of that ball game. Yeah. And I thought Kansas City, and you know this better than I do. You play for Andy Reid, that they like to pass fine. But you're up by that much. Okay, if you're going to pass, you tell everyone that catches the rock, if you run anywhere near that sideline, I'm going to cut you right here on the spot.
What are they doing?
Stopping the clock, guys getting tackled out of bounds. No, you don't do that.
You got to tackle, you got to protect.
I understand that you've lost your first 2 backs in Niall Davis and Jamal Charles at the beginning of the game.
Just let Alex Smith run. He did a great job running.
Andy Reid, I love Andy Reid. I think he's a great coach. But my biggest knock was always we passed the ball too much. Yeah. Why do we pass so much? So this was a great excuse for Andy Reid, now that you've lost your first string, second string back, to just throw the ball. And you got a quarterback who's playing well. And
put that third one in there. Cyrus Gray.
Zip.
Just run it.
Well, I know they should have.
Even if it's 3 downs.
Retrospect, it looks.
Retrospect while you're watching.
Listen, I have serious issues with the way he throws the ball around. I always have. But I mean, in this situation, geez.
Alex Smith looked really like a great quarterback for a while.
He's looked good the second half of the season. Even in that second loss to the Broncos, I thought he played exceptionally well. During KC, he had some big-time drops in that game. So he's really proven himself this year, if he hadn't already.
I feel like this weekend, I mean, you got 4 games, and I have no idea who's going to win any of them. Normally, I have a feeling. And a lot of times it's wrong. But
I think the Pats could get eliminated, huh?
I do. Well, I mean, all these games, it's like, man, there's so much evidence this way, but then there's so much evidence this way. All these teams have beaten one another.
And the Pats, with everyone they've lost, and they just lost another one, Brandon Spikes, on the defensive side of the ball.
Huge.
And it's amazing. They're sitting there as the number 2 seed, and they've lost so many guys on that side of the ball. That just tells you how good Tom Brady is.
The Belichick and Brady are winners. They
find a way to plug other guys in, and next man step up.
And all they went through with Aaron Hernandez and that controversy this year, all that crap, it's like, they're winners.
And you look at the Chargers, they have already beaten the Broncos in the regular season, of course. They're in Denver, and they're 1 or 2 teams. KC's the other one to hold the Broncos below 30 points.
Phillip Rivers
and they did it. They did it twice.
Twice, yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing. The Chargers, man, I'm not a Chargers fan, but the way that they are running the football now.
It reminds me, this run they've been on, because it's been playoffs for them for like the last 6 games. It reminds me of the Ravens last year.
Last year.
Same type of run.
Yeah, sure.
Getting hot at the right time.
You think Flacco's going to ever get another ring? He ran away with the loot, man.
No.
He ran away with the loot. He did
Strike while you're hot.
Biggie Smalls, give me the loot.
Yeah, give me the loot.
Well, that's what he did, man.
He lost. He
That was
lost
a great
half.
album.
He lost half the team around him. You know, rebuilding on defense now. Ray Rice had a terrible year. That hurts a lot.
And he didn't have Anquan Bolden, who was catching anything that was thrown his way.
They gotta make some changes.
Flacco went in there.
That was a great game. That San Francisco Green Bay. Oh, that was fun to watch.
Flacco went in there with the owner and said, "Go get your lawyer, bitch. He could get robbed too." That's right, man. He took all the cash. But guys,
great album, Ready or Die. Ready? What is it? Ready?
I miss him.
Ready to Die.
Ready to Die. I miss
Ready
the guy.
to Die.
I miss the guy. He's a great artist.
Yes.
Sing
some more.
I can't. Well, it's censored.
I feel like
on the old Stern show, I used to sing that all the time. And I said the N-word in front of T.I. because it's in the lyrics.
Yeah.
You know, the rapper, he got mad at me.
Well, you could eat T.I.
Well, I said to him.
I mean, he's about that big.
I almost fought him. It would have been great.
Really?
Yeah, but
what did he say to you?
He said, "You get one." Like
that was your one.
Yeah, but I said the N-word's in the lyrics. He wrote it.
Yeah.
Everybody had my back, and then it was fantastic radio.
Yeah.
You get one. That was your one.
That's what he said.
You get one, Boschetti.
He's 4'8".
He's tiny.
I'll tell you what, he's a good-looking kid, though.
Yeah.
What, Mike?
Tip.
I never. That word is. Oh God.
Oh, shut up! You are what a hypocrite! You've come in here. You've had to apologize for homophobic and racist stuff.
No, Brian knows.
And he has to crowbar in. I never heard that. Bull crap.
No, Brian knows I'm a good guy.
I never asked him for a reparation.
How does he know that?
No, he knows. Brian knows.
Was he hang out with you?
How do I know that? How do I know what you're doing when the lights are off?
He's at your house when you got a big bet on the Knick game?
No, if anybody did, my dad would scream at the Met game and things like that. That's his problem, though, not mine.
You know the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
No, but his
neither do the nuts.
No, but his apple was far from my tree. He's an idiot.
Boschetti, really?
He gonna drop his daddy in the grease.
Bochetti's
my daddy was a bigot, but I wasn't.
Before Bochetti's done, it'll be 1963 in here again. All right, we're gonna take a break. And so, by the way, something else this proves this past week. There's so much football on, man. There's so much between college and pros. There is so much football on television.
Yeah, but now we're waning, though. We're waning. Now there's 4 games, and then there's 2 games.
Waning, it's got to stop.
There's 1 game, and then we're out of games.
Got to stop at some point.
And then depression begins.
That's true.
Do you get that post-football depression?
Yeah,
I do until baseball season starts.
Well, you're a baseball fan. You don't like baseball.
I mean, I'm learning to like baseball.
Did you see the numbers on some of these games, by the way?
No.
Do you know?
Incredible.
47 million people watched
Green Bay
or something like that. Yeah. I mean, this is a football country, man. 47 million. Compare that to the World Series or the NBA finals.
What
Not
is the
even
World
close.
Series? How many people?
Probably on a really good year,
10?
now 29, maybe something like that.
Oh, really?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, like 47 million for a playoff game a few weeks before the bowl.
And it's a wild card.
And college, too.
Right, it's a wild card.
There was a college game with over 40 million people, too. I got to find it. I don't know if and it wasn't even the championship game, I don't think. Anyway, we're going to take a break. The great Brian Jones is here. We'll be back with more football talk.
The Artie Lange Show, weeknights on Audience, only on DirecTV.